Have you ever wondered about getting orthotics? Have you ever wondered if you're a candidate for orthotics? Do you know where to get orthotics here in Victoria, BC? Well, today I'm interviewing Kyle Pankratz, and he is a pedorthist. And today we're going to talk about orthotics and who might be a candidate for them. So welcome, Kyle.
Thanks for having me. This is great.
Awesome. Thanks for being here today.
Of course.
So I'm just going to pick your brain a little bit about orthotics. Definitely as a massage therapist, I get a lot of people that come into the clinic and they're wondering, you know, my opinion on orthotics or should they get orthotics? And so it's always definitely a discussion to have because everyone has a different opinion. So first of all, can you tell me about yourself and how long you've been a pedorthist?
Yeah, for sure. So I have been a pedorthist for the past 2 years, about a year and a half now, and I finished my undergrad degree at UBC out in Kelowna. I played volleyball there while I was going through school, finished up school and didn't really know what I wanted to do afterwards. Tried the job market out, was looking for different employment, and I found a job at a company called Kintec where they specialized in bracing, custom orthotics, and footwear. And I got a job there, didn't really know much about the field, and I really fell in love with it. Started pursuing it more, and then decided to go for my Pedorthics certification, and I've been in love with it ever since. So.
Awesome. Well, it's always great to love what you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how does your career differ from a podiatrist?
So a podiatrist is a doctor who specializes in feet and feet surgeries, where a pedorthist is more of a biomechanical expert focusing on the lower limb, who specializes in making custom orthotics, footwear and footwear modifications. So some overlap there, but a little bit different.
Nice. Well, it's good to know the difference between the two, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
And how long have you been working here at New Balance?
I've been here about 2 years, and I'm responsible for all the training here and do a lot of external marketing and deal with more of the complicated cases if people come in and need some specialized fittings.
Nice. Yeah, well, I'm sure you see like a whole gamut of different clients that come in for footwear, right?
Yeah.
I worked here back in the day when I was going to massage school, so I definitely remember people coming in with different foot issues, and it was always a challenge to, you know, find the perfect shoe and the perfect fit for people. So yeah. So talking about people who are candidates for orthotics, who would that be? Someone that maybe has a lot of injuries, plantar fasciitis, different foot conditions coming in?
Yeah, so anyone who's a candidate for orthotics, it all depends on what's going on with their mechanics. If they're experiencing a lot of pain or other issues while they're doing normal activities, while they're standing or walking, or if they're trying to reach that next level in a run, or just not able to really push that barrier, orthotics can definitely help get them back to where they were doing the activities that they love. And a lot of things factor into what kind of orthotics they would be looking at, whether it's their mechanics, activity of choice, and body composition.
Definitely makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And in your opinion, what would be better, hard or soft orthotics?
It all depends on the person. Custom orthotics in regards to the hard shell, they're good for more of the high impact activities, just because they're going to be a little bit more durable. They're going to support the body a bit more. They're also going to be better for the heavier set individual, or someone who tends to overpronate, where the soft shell orthotics, or they're more accommodative style, they're going to be good for someone who's got a bit more of a sensitive foot, or someone who just doesn't handle that kind of pressure from that hard shell. They both are good options, very supportive. It just depends on the situation that we would want to look at.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And what is the method that orthotics are made? Casting, or is it more of a pressure sensor?
There's a lot of different ways that you can make orthotics. Some that are only recognized by healthcare professionals are considered a true 3D representation of the foot. So that would be considered more like a plaster cast of the foot, a 3D scan of the foot, or a foam box impression. You can make orthotics from a pressure mat, but it's not a true 3D representation of the foot.
Okay, good to know. I've had orthotics in the past as well, and the only time I had them was with casting method, so I found that really interesting, having your foot being imprinted in mold, I guess, basically, and they worked really well. How long do orthotics last for?
Orthotics last, depending on how much you're using them, they can last anywhere for 5 to 10 years on the hard shell style. For the soft shell, it's a little bit shorter, probably 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
It's always recommended you get reassessed every few years just to see if your feet have changed, just because the orthotics, they're not going to do what they're supposed to if they're not fitting properly.
Totally. And for someone, this is a question I get a lot as well, like, should you be wearing your orthotics in every single pair of shoes? For instance, if you're a runner, would you be wearing your orthotics in your work shoes as well, or just in your running shoes?
Yeah, so orthotics, it's a type of therapy, so it's supposed to be not just a quick fix kind of scheme. We want to make sure that you're applying different exercises and other things to help you get back to a normal. So if you're standing or walking for long periods of time and you're experiencing a lot of pain, then wearing the orthotics to reduce those symptoms is going to be smart, but it's also partnering that with other exercises to strengthen your foot. So if you're having a lot of pain while you're running, it's a good idea to wear the orthotics while you're running. If you're in steel-toed boots and you're experiencing a lot of pain, it's a good idea to wear those orthotics and those kind of shoes.
Totally makes sense. And the strengthening of the foot too, I mean, that's, I would say probably a lot of people's common issue, right? We don't think about strengthening our feet when we're on them all day. I mean, we wouldn't be walking or running if we didn't have feet, right? So it's important to strengthen them just like we would strengthen any other part of our body as well.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, what would be better, custom orthotics or off the shelf, such as like Superfeet or the Sole orthotics?
Yeah, so custom orthotics, they're a great option because they're specific to you. They're specific to what you're going to be using them for, whether it's an activity or a shoe, but they're also specific in how they've been made for your foot. The over-the-counter options, they're not bad. We have some options here, like the Sole insole or the Superfeet insoles, which they're a good one-size-fits-all model, so they're based on your foot size or your shoe size, and they're good for if you're not sure about orthotics, if you don't have the money to afford a custom orthotic just because they are quite expensive. They still provide some structure and support, but not to the same extent as a custom option.
Totally makes sense. I personally run in the Sole. I love the Sole. It's a good, it's a great substitute for orthotics, really. So depending on what your issue is. So what is your view on barefoot running?
Barefoot running, it's a great thing in the regards to promoting natural movement of the foot and of the whole kinetic chain up to the hips. It really emphasizes full range of motion throughout the whole body, and it's a great training tool to get you back to different activities, whether you're trying to improve your time on a race or even biking. There's a lot of translations there. It just depends on how you can tolerate it. For barefoot running, if you're not used to running on that hard surface, it can cause a lot of issues like stress fractures or other things like that. So it's important to ease into it. If barefoot running is creating more issues than good, then it's probably not the best activity for you. However, if you're able to tolerate it and it's really helpful in improving your running style, it's a great thing to consider.
Yeah, it's definitely a question that I've had and I've had clients ask about, but I'd be worried about, sharp rocks or needles or glass, those kinds of things. I mean, shoes are protecting our foot, so we want to make sure that we've got some protection when we're out on the road or on the trails, number one, right? So, so if there was one foot strengthening exercise you would recommend to people, what would it be?
That's a good one. I'd probably give them two. There's a really good exercise I like to promote. It's called the towel scrunches.
Yeah.
So if you grab a towel and you lay it flat on the ground and you're thinking about pulling the towel up underneath your foot, Not thinking about so much with the toes, but actually gripping it underneath your midfoot.
Okay.
That can really strengthen a lot of the intrinsic muscles in the foot. Another good one is doing some heel raises, but squeezing a golf ball or a lacrosse ball in between your heels
Okay.
to work on strengthening the tibialis posterior,
Mhm.
just to help with repronating and natural pronation of the foot. So those are two that are commonly missed, and
Mhm.
we see a lot of weakness in the general population.
Mhm.
So those two exercises are really good to focus on.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I've tried those exercises myself. It's definitely a challenge trying to hold a lacrosse ball between your heels and doing like a toe raise, basically. So
Mhm. Yeah.
awesome. Well, that was great. That was very informative. So what are your social tags? How do people get in touch with you?
I don't really have social media, but if anyone has any questions about footwear, orthotics, and soles, I'm at New Balance here 5 days a week, so you can always drop by or call the store, and I'm an open book, so
Okay,
fire any questions away.
awesome. So people don't have to make an appointment necessarily. You can just drop into the store.
Yeah, you can come on anytime, or you can book appointments online at our website.
Awesome. And what is your website?
It is newbalancevictoria.com.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time today, Kyle. That was really informative,
No
and
problem.
that was great.
Yeah,
So, and thanks for the
having me.
foot strengthening tips as well.
Of course.
So this is Kyle Pankratz, and he works here at New Balance. So if you have any concerns, or if you want to get some tips on foot strengthening, or see whether or not you should be wearing orthotics, come on down to the store. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video on some trail running specific exercises with James Cook coming soon. All right, everyone, take care, and we'll see you at the next video. Bye for now.